Before watching this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoy my good stories. My name is Delilah Jackson, and I raised my son, Malik, with nothing but faith, fire, and my 2 hands. We didn't grow up rich, not even close, but baby, we grew up real. I worked double shifts as a CNA, scrubbed floors in the evenings, and packed school lunches with exact pennies in my hand. Malik saw everything, all the struggle, all the nights I came home with aching feet and burning shoulders, so when he became the first Jackson in our family to start his own tech business, I thought, finally, one of us made it. Then came her. Savannah. My son's new wife. Pretty girl, soft voice, fancy clothes, but something in her smile always felt rehearsed. When Malik brought her home the first time, she scanned my apartment like she was inspecting a thrift store donation bin. She smiled, but her eyes never landed. I noticed. Mothers always notice. But Malik was in love, and love makes smart men foolish. Months later, Savannah told Malik her parents wanted to properly meet his family before they hosted a big anniversary dinner. But something about the way she said family told me exactly what she meant. They wanted to see what Malik came from. They wanted to judge. They wanted to measure. And baby, I don't let nobody measure me. So I decided that morning, the morning I went to meet them, that I wasn't going to walk in dressed like the woman I had become. Not the woman with savings. Not the woman who worked her way into comfort. Not the woman who survived everything from eviction notices to broken hearts. No. I walked in dressed like the woman they expected me to be. Old, poor, naive, and invisible. I put on my oldest church shoes, the ones with the heel that wobbled. I wore a faded floral dress from 15 years ago. No makeup, no jewelry, hair tied back with a scarf I only used for cleaning. When Malik saw me, he blinked twice. "Ma, you sure you want to wear that?" "Yes, baby," I said softly. "This is me." He hesitated, but he didn't know my plan, so he led me to the car. When we arrived, my breath caught. Savannah's parents' house wasn't a house, it was a mansion, the kind you see in movies about lawyers who charge $800 an hour and politicians who smile like crocodiles. A fountain in the front yard. Marble steps. Windows taller than my entire living room. The moment I stepped out the car, Savannah's mother, Evelyn, spotted me. Her smile tightened. Oh. Malik's mother. Not Mrs. Jackson. Not Delilah. Not even a simple hello. Just a label. She looked me up and down, and baby, she didn't hide a thing. I could practically hear her thoughts slapping against her forehead. Poor. Uneducated. Not good enough for our daughter. I shuffled a little, pretending to be awkward. I let my purse drag on the ground. I blinked too slowly. Evelyn's smile widened, pleased. Exactly what I needed. Inside, the dining room looked like a hotel banquet hall. Crystal glasses. Silver plates. Tall candles. And at the head of the table sat the father, Mr. Montgomery, reading the newspaper like a king. He didn't stand when I walked in. Didn't shake my hand. Didn't even look up. Sit, he said, pointing at a chair near the kitchen door. The servant's chair. Malik frowned. Savannah looked embarrassed. But Evelyn smiled like she had just taught me my place. I thanked them softly, in the sweetest, slowest voice I could muster. The meal started with small talk. The kind of talk rich folks use to show off what they own without sounding like they're showing off. "So Malik," Evelyn said, swirling her wine, "Savannah tells us your business is doing well. For someone who started from very little." She glanced at me. I looked down at my plate, pretending not to notice. Mr. Montgomery folded his newspaper. Finally looked up. Looked at my dress. Looked at my shoes. "Where do you work, Ms. Jackson?" "Me?" I asked, playing clueless. "Oh, I just do little things here and there." He smirked. Evelyn leaned forward. So no real career? Not really, ma'am. Her eyes glittered like she had won something. Malik squeezed my hand under the table, confused, hurt, maybe even ashamed. He didn't know why I was letting them talk to me this way. But I did. People reveal the most when they think you're beneath them. And baby, they were about to reveal everything. Because just when dessert arrived, I overheard something whispered between husband and wife, something not meant for my ears. Something that changed everything. Something that made my blood turn cold. Something that proved Savannah's family didn't come to judge me. They came to hide a secret so big, it could destroy all of us. I pretended to be focused on my dessert, a tiny square of lemon tart that probably cost more than my whole grocery bill, but my ears were sharp. You learn to listen quietly when you've survived as much as I have. Evelyn leaned toward her husband, whispering behind her wine glass. Do you think he suspects anything? She murmured. Mr. Montgomery didn't whisper. He didn't care enough to hide it. Of course not, he said plainly. She looks exactly how we hoped she would. They both glanced at me. I kept chewing slowly, gently, like the tart was too fancy for my poor, uneducated taste buds. But inside? My stomach twisted like a knot. Hoped? Hoped I would look poor? Hoped I would look naive? What kind of game were they playing? I lowered my eyes but sharpened my senses. They kept talking, soft, but not soft enough. We just need to get through this dinner, Evelyn said softly. After that, everything will fall into place. Mr. Montgomery tapped his fork on the plate. And once the paperwork is finalized, everything her side owns becomes ours. She thinks it's a merger, but really, it's a takeover. Her side. Who was her? I froze. Savannah? But Savannah's family was rich, they already had everything. Why would they need anything from my son? Malik's company was doing well, but it wasn't that big. Not big enough for a takeover scheme. That meant the her they were talking about wasn't Savannah. It was me. My pulse thumped in my ears. Paperwork? What paperwork? Then I felt it, a tap on my shoe. Malik's foot. He was staring at me, brows tight. He knew something was off. He could read my face as easily as I could read his. I gave him a small smile, the one that meant, be patient. Mama's listening. Then Evelyn lifted her glass dramatically. To family, old and new, she said. Everyone raised their glasses, except me. I looked at her hands instead. That's when I saw it. A file. Tucked under her arm. Cream-colored. Stamped. With my name written on the side. Della Jackson, property transfer. Property transfer? For what property? I didn't own anything fancy. Just my small apartment, and that was still under a mortgage. Unless they weren't talking about that property. My heart slowed, and then raced. Years ago, when my father died, he left me a piece of land down in Georgia. Old, forgotten farmland. Nothing special. I visited it once when I was a little girl, a quiet patch of dirt and oak trees. We never sold it because my father said, one day, this land gone matter. Maybe not to me, but to you. But I never thought about it again. Life was too busy. Too hard. So how did they know about it? Then it clicked. Savannah. She must have told them about something she found in Malik's papers, maybe a family folder or an inheritance document. Something she wasn't supposed to see. But why would they want land in the middle of nowhere? Then Savannah's father said the words that made everything inside me collapse. That land is sitting on government-approved solar fields. They want to build the largest energy farm in the state. And she hasn't updated the deed in years. The payout will go straight to whoever manages to convince her to sign the transfer. Evelyn smirked behind her glass. Well, she looks simple enough. I swear the room tilted. My hand shook under the table. So that's what this dinner was. A trap. A performance. A manipulation. They thought I was stupid enough to sign away the one thing my father left me, the one thing that could set my son up for life, because they believed I was poor, and uneducated, and desperate for approval. They wanted to steal everything. But baby, they picked the wrong mother. Malik noticed my breathing change. Ma, he whispered. I gently squeezed his hand and shook my head. Not yet. Let them talk. Let them hang themselves with their own words. The next moment, Evelyn stood dramatically from her seat. Before we serve coffee, she announced, I wanted to review something important with you, Delilah dear. She placed the file on the table in front of me. My name staring back at me. Just a small formality, she said sweetly. Nothing complicated. I leaned forward slowly. Is that, for me? Yes, she said, voice dripping with fake kindness. It's, a standard agreement. Very simple. We can go through it together. Savannah looked pale. She whispered. Mom, maybe not. Savannah, Evelyn snapped under her breath. Mr. Montgomery didn't even bother hiding his impatience. Sign it so we can move forward. Malik shot up from his chair. Hold on, he said sharply. What is this? His voice echoed through the quiet room. Evelyn's smile didn't break, but her eyes hardened. Just paperwork, she said coldly. For family alignment. Family alignment. My God. They weren't just trying to steal from me. They were trying to pull Malik away from me, to merge him into their rich, polished world. One where his mother didn't belong. I touched Malik's wrist. Softly. Sit down, baby, I whispered. He hesitated, then obeyed. The entire room watched me. Waiting. Expecting. Counting on my ignorance. I opened the file slowly. Pretending to struggle with the pages. Pretending I couldn't understand the legal terms. Pretending to be exactly who they thought I was. Then I lifted my head. And looked Evelyn dead in the eyes. That's a whole lot of words, I said softly. Mind telling me, what exactly I'm signing away? She smiled like a shark. Oh, don't worry, dear. It's just, some useless land in Georgia. Nothing worth keeping. We're just trying to help you. They thought I would fall for that. They thought they could take advantage of a poor, old, tired black woman who didn't know any better. But I kept my voice trembling. Shaky. Timid. I don't know, I whispered. I shouldn't sign anything without understanding. My father left me that land. Mr. Montgomery slammed his hand on the table. That land is worthless. I flinched, but I wasn't acting this time. The room froze. Evelyn's eyes widened in anger. Savannah gasped. Malik pushed his chair back, ready to defend me. But I touched his forearm again. No. Let them show themselves. Let them burn their own bridge with my son. Mr. Montgomery leaned closer. Sign the paper, Ms. Jackson. Everyone looked at me. Then, a strange calm washed over me. Because I knew something they didn't know. Something they would never expect. Something that would flip this entire night upside down. I wasn't alone. Not anymore. And the truth? The truth was about to explode in their faces. The room had gone so silent, even the candles seemed to stop flickering. Mr. Montgomery's demand still hung in the air like poison. Sign the paper, Ms. Jackson. His voice was sharp, controlled, used to people obeying him. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe wrong. Because this was the moment I had been waiting for. The moment their arrogance would blind them completely. I kept my posture small, my shoulders slumped, my eyes wide like I didn't know what to do. Sir. I don't want any trouble, I whispered. He smirked. Exactly the reaction he wanted. Evelyn placed a pen gently in front of me, like she was offering a treat to a frightened animal. "It's all right, Delilah," she cooed. "Trust us. We only have your best interests at heart. Just a simple signature." I stared at the pen. Then slowly reached out. Not for the pen, but for my purse. I could feel Malik tense beside me. He knew I was up to something, but he didn't know what. Evelyn's eyes sparkled, thinking I was pulling out reading glasses or something pitiful. But what I pulled out was my phone. And before anyone understood what was happening, I pressed one button. The speaker crackled to life. And a strong, steady voice filled the room. "Delilah? I'm connected. When do you need me to join?" Mr. Montgomery jerked in his seat. Evelyn's mouth fell open. Savannah gasped, hands flying to her lips. Because the voice on that phone? The person I had on standby? Was attorney Vanessa Price. One of the top family and property lawyers in the entire state. A black woman who didn't bow to anyone, the kind of woman who walked into a courtroom like she owned the damn building. And she wasn't just any lawyer. She was my niece. The daughter of my baby sister. The same baby sister they assumed I didn't have because they thought poor black families are always small, broken, scattered. No, baby. My family is quiet, not absent. I lifted the phone gently. "I'm here," I said calmly, in my normal voice, not the soft, shaky one. The room stiffened. Malik blinked, surprised at the sudden confidence in my tone. "Delilah, are they pressuring you?" Attorney Price asked. "Because I'm ready to join the video call right now." I smiled. Sweet. Slow. Deadly. "Yes, baby. I think now's the perfect time." And just like that, I pressed another button. And she appeared on video, face sharp, voice sharper. "Good evening," she said, looking directly into the camera. "Which one of you is the genius who tried to trick my aunt into signing a fraudulent property transfer?" Mr. Montgomery stood up so fast, his chair scraped across the floor. This is a private family matter." Attorney Price raised an eyebrow. "Really? Because it sounds like extortion. And I'd be very careful with your tone. My firm represents several state officials who would love to review that file you slid across the table." Evelyn snatched the folder off the table like a child hiding a cheat sheet. "That paper is none of your concern." "Oh, but it is," Vanessa said calmly. "My aunt owns 14 acres of land in Georgia, land that's currently under energy review evaluation for federal purchase. That makes any attempt to falsify, manipulate, or pressure her signature a felony." Savannah's hands began trembling. Mom," she whispered. "I told you this was wrong." Evelyn snapped her head toward her daughter. "Savannah, not now." But it was too late. Savannah's guilt, that soft worry she always carried, was breaking through her mother's control. Malik finally spoke. "Savannah, did you know about this? Did you know they were planning to steal my mom's inheritance?" He wasn't raising his voice out of anger, it was heartbreak. Savannah shook her head violently. "No. I swear I never wanted this. I told them not to involve you, not to lie to you." Mr. Montgomery slammed his palm on the table again. "Enough." But this time? Nobody obeyed. Because his power was crumbling. Attorney Price leaned forward in the video frame. "Sir, do you realize how many laws you violated tonight? Manipulation, coercion, attempted theft of federal appraised property, should I go on?" His jaw clenched. "You have no proof." "Oh?" Vanessa smirked. "My aunt recorded the entire dinner." Every soul in the room froze. Because yes, I did. When I slipped my phone from my purse earlier, I had already pressed record. All their whispers. All their insults. All their plans. Captured. Evelyn's face drained of color. You planned this?" she stammered. I finally sat up straight, fully straight, letting the timid act fall away like old skin. "I'm a lot of things, Evelyn," I said calmly. "But stupid? Never been one of them." Malik leaned back, pride blooming on his face like sunrise. Mr. Montgomery pointed at the file. "We can still settle this privately." "Settle?" Vanessa scoffed. "Sir, my aunt now qualifies for not only the full compensation for her land, which is projected to reach 7 figures, but also damages for attempted fraud." Savannah gasped. 7 figures? Malik turned to me, eyes wide. "Ma, you never told me." I touched his cheek softly. "Not everything meant for now, baby. Some blessings gotta ripen." Tears filled his eyes. Then Evelyn, desperate, lunged for the narrative. "You tricked us. You walked in here looking like a poor black woman?" I finished calmly. "Don't worry. You can say it. You've been thinking it all night." Her jaw snapped shut. Mr. Montgomery's fists tightened. "You'll regret this." "No," I said with a quiet smile. "You will." Because that was the moment the front door opened. And a voice echoed through the hallway. "Is everything all right in here?" Savannah's little brother stood there, hesitant, wide-eyed, holding a stack of envelopes he had just picked up from the gate. He looked at us, at the tension, at his parents' red faces. And then he said something that shattered everything. "Dad, these letters came again. The ones from the IRS. They say we're under investigation?" Evelyn screamed his name. "Jackson, not now." But the damage was done. Mr. Montgomery snatched the letters, ripping them open with shaking hands. His face turned white. Savannah covered her mouth. Malik looked at me. I looked at Attorney Price. She smirked. "Looks like karma showed up early," she murmured on the speaker. "And baby?" She wasn't wrong. Because karma was only getting started. The moment those IRS letters hit Mr. Montgomery's hands, the entire room felt like it shifted. The air, once thick with arrogance, now tasted like fear. His face drained from red to white, from white to a sick shade of gray. Evelyn froze mid-breath. Savannah trembled so hard her earrings shook. Even the candles flickered like they were trying to blow themselves out to escape the tension. I stayed still. Watching. Listening. Because the mighty always fall loud. Mr. Montgomery scanned the papers, muttering under his breath, pacing, mumbling numbers, his hands shaking with a desperation I had never seen in a man who just minutes ago demanded my signature like a king demanding tribute. Malik whispered beside me. "Ma, what's happening?" I didn't answer yet. I wanted to hear more. Wanted to see the truth spill out their own mouths. Finally, Mr. Montgomery slammed the papers onto the table. "This is nonsense. They must have made a mistake." But his voice cracked. Attorney Price, still on video call, leaned in with a raised eyebrow. "A mistake? The IRS doesn't send 7 consecutive notices by mistake. 7 letters. Lord have mercy." Savannah covered her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears, real ones this time. "Dad, you told us everything was handled." Evelyn shot her daughter a glare sharp enough to cut glass. "Savannah, be quiet." "No." Savannah burst out. "Not anymore. You dragged me and Malik into this, into your lies." Her voice broke. The girl was finally waking up. Mr. Montgomery pointed a trembling finger at her. "You will not talk to me like that in front of." "Like what?" Malik cut in. "Like people who deserve the truth?" His voice was calm, but deadly. "Exactly like mine gets when enough is enough." I reached for his hand, squeezing softly. I was proud. Attorney Price cleared her throat through the speaker. "So, Mr. Montgomery, Do you want to explain why the IRS is after a family as prestigious as yours? His jaw clenched. He said nothing. Savannah's brother spoke instead. The poor boy didn't know better, he just wanted to help. They said Dad owes, back taxes. And penalties. And something about. Evelyn practically lunged at him. Jackson, enough. But he stepped back, scared, confused, but determined. Mom, I'm tired of hiding things. We're always pretending everything is perfect. Even when it's not. His voice cracked. And just like that. A perfect, polished family shattered. The truth spilled out faster than Evelyn could stop it. All right. Mr. Montgomery exploded. Yes, we're under investigation. Yes, we had a financial setback. A financial setback? That was rich people talk for bankruptcy is knocking on the door. He paced like he was trying to escape the truth. Everything was fine until last year. The company started bleeding money. Then that land deal in Georgia, the first one, fell through when the government changed regulations. Wait. A land deal? In Georgia? My heartbeat skipped. I sat up straighter. That meant. They knew about my land long before tonight. This wasn't spontaneous greed. This was planned. Purposeful. Targeted. Your land, Vanessa said through the phone, was their fallback plan. Evelyn's eyes darted to the file she had hidden under her arm. It was supposed to be simple, she hissed. A quick transfer. Easy money. You weren't supposed to complicate things. I stared at her, so calmly it scared her. And by complicate, you mean, think. Her lips curled. She wasn't sorry. She was angry. I saw through her. Savannah whispered. Mom, how could you? But Evelyn only glared at me, not at her daughter, not at her husband. You tricked us, she growled. You walked in pretending to be poor, pretending to be simple. I walked in the way you expected me to, I interrupted softly. I just let you show me who you really are. Malik squeezed my hand again. Proud. Furious. Heartbroken. Then Mr. Montgomery finally snapped. You don't understand, he said, voice cracking. We needed that land to clear our debts. We're drowning. He dropped into his seat, head in his hands. Savannah looked at me, tears blurring her mascara. Mrs. Jackson. I swear, I didn't know any of this. I never wanted to hurt Malik. I just wanted my family to like me. I didn't know they were planning all this. Her voice shook with shame. Malik looked at her, hard. Savannah, did you know about the land? Did you tell them? She shook her head violently. No. I swear. They found out themselves. Dad hired someone to do a background check. I begged them to leave your mom out of it. Mr. Montgomery slammed his fist on the table again. Savannah. But nobody was scared of him anymore. Not even his own daughter. Because the truth was out. Not just about the land. But about the rot under their perfect marble floors. Attorney Price looked directly at me on the screen. Auntie, do you want me to proceed with legal action? I have everything I need. The Montgomerys froze like statues. Savannah gasped. Even Malik turned to me. Because what I said next would decide everything. I looked at them one by one. At the man who tried to steal from me. At the woman who thought I was beneath her. At the daughter who had been trapped between loyalty and guilt. At the boy who just wanted his family to stop pretending. And then at my son, the best thing I ever made, looking at me with the same fire I once carried. I lifted the phone. And I said. Not yet. Evelyn blinked. Mr. Montgomery lifted his head. Savannah whispered, what? Attorney Price frowned. Auntie, are you sure? Yes, I said firmly. Not yet. Because the truth was. This wasn't the end. This wasn't the moment I wanted. Not yet. Not until they understood why they would never take advantage of me again. Not until I said the words that would change the entire direction of the night. Not until I looked Evelyn Montgomery in the eyes and told her. I know what you've been hiding. The entire room froze. Dead silent. Evelyn's eyes widened, terrified for the first time. Because she knew exactly what I was talking about. And baby. It was time to expose her secret. The night after the confrontation, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the way Charlotte grabbed Maya's arm. The way Peter lied so confidently. The way the entire mansion felt like it was hiding 1,000 whispers behind every wall. I sat in the guest bedroom, staring at the moonlight crawling across the carpet. And the more I sat, the more one thought burned. Something is wrong with Maya, and I'm the only one who feels it. I waited until the house fell quiet. Then, at around 1:30 a.m., I heard it, footsteps. Not soft ones. Rushed. Nervous. Heavy. I peeked through the cracked door. Maya was walking down the hallway with her hoodie pulled over her head, clutching something close to her chest. She kept looking over her shoulder, breathing hard. My heart jumped. I slipped out behind her, staying silent, step by step. She wasn't going to her room. Or the kitchen. Or anywhere normal. She slipped out the back door. So did I. The cold night air slapped my face, but I didn't move. Maya kept walking toward the far corner of the enormous backyard, a shadowy area behind the tool shed. That's when I saw it. A man was waiting there. Tall. Broad shoulders. Dark hoodie. I couldn't see his face. Maya whispered something urgently, and he whispered back. Then I heard it. Not everything. Just enough. Maya, I can't keep hiding forever, he'll hurt us both. Man, you should have told me sooner. I won't let them control you anymore. My breath caught. Who would hurt her? Who is them? Her own family? Or mine? The man gently placed his hands on Maya's shaking shoulders. Not romantic. Protective. Desperate. He handed her a small envelope. Maya clutched it tight like it contained her last bit of hope. Then they hugged. Not like lovers. Like two people drowning who finally found each other. When Maya turned to walk back, I slipped behind a tree and hid until she passed. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning. The mansion smelled like fresh cinnamon rolls and tension. Everyone sat around the breakfast table except Maya, who still hadn't come downstairs. Charlotte kept looking at Peter with that tight, controlling smile. Peter kept tapping his fork like he was trying to drill a hole into the table. Then Charlotte said it. The sentence that froze the whole room. Peter, we need to accelerate the wedding. Before your mother interferes again. My jaw tightened. Peter glared at her. David shifted uncomfortably. Marcus stared at his coffee. I leaned forward. Calm. But sharp. Why the rush? Charlotte smiled too politely. Some things need to be settled before complications arise. Complications. That word felt poisonous. I looked straight at her. Are you talking about that envelope Maya got last night? Everything stopped. Peter's fork dropped. David choked on air. Charlotte blinked rapidly, her mask cracking for the first time. Marcus whispered. Wait, what envelope? Charlotte's eyes cut to me like daggers. You followed her? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Because suddenly. The stairs creaked. Everyone turned. Maya stood there. Eyes red. Hands trembling. The envelope in her grip. I stood up slowly. Maya, sweetheart, what's inside that envelope? Her lips quivered. She stepped forward. Her voice broke. Proof. Everyone stared. I held my breath. Proof of what? Maya lifted her head. Tears streaming. And then she whispered the sentence that tore the entire mansion apart. Proof of what your son has been hiding, from all of us. The room went silent. Not the normal kind of silence. A heavy, choking silence, like the air itself was holding its breath. Everyone stared at the small white envelope in Maya's hands. The one she held like a shield. The one Charlotte's eyes were drilling into with pure panic. Peter swallowed hard. Even from across the table, I could see the fear crawling up his neck. I took a slow step toward Maya. Baby, whatever is in there, you don't have to be afraid. She nodded weakly. Her fingers trembled as she opened the flap. The paper inside was folded neatly, too neatly. It looked like something a professional would prepare. Something expensive. She unfolded it. Her lips parted. Charlotte shot up from her seat. Maya, don't you dare. Maya stepped back. Her voice broke, but she didn't look away. This is from the private investigator. David froze. Marcus blinked fast. Peter whispered, what? Maya's hand shook as she held up the document. He was hired to follow me. To track me. To dig into my past. My eyes widened. Who hired him? Maya looked at Peter. Right at him. His face drained of color. Charlotte tried to speak first. We had to protect our family. But Maya cut her off, her voice sharper than I'd ever heard. It wasn't your mother, Peter. It was you. The room exploded with tension. Peter's jaw clenched. His eyes darted everywhere but at her. Maya, listen. No, she cried. You told me you trusted me. You told me you believed in me. And all this time, you were spying on me? Trying to catch me in something? Peter ran a shaking hand through his hair. I had to. My heart dropped. Had to? Why? Peter finally looked at me. And then at Maya. And then at the document. He whispered. Because of the baby. Every muscle in my body tensed. What baby? Maya blinked. Confused. Terrified. Peter. I'm not pregnant. Peter stared at her, stunned. Charlotte covered her mouth. Marcus's chair squeaked as he leaned forward. And then Peter whispered something I never could have expected to hear come from my son's mouth. That's impossible. The shocking reveal. Maya stepped closer, tears spilling down her cheeks. Peter, why would you think I'm pregnant? Peter looked like he was collapsing internally. Because Charlotte told me. Everyone's head snapped toward Charlotte. Her eyes widened. Her lips trembled. But she didn't deny it. Not immediately. And that silence. That split-second hesitation. Told me everything. I stepped forward. Slow. Controlled. Deadly calm. Charlotte. You lied to my son about a pregnancy? She shut her eyes. Tried to steady herself. I had to. Otherwise he would never have pushed the engagement forward. He would have waited. He would have hesitated. I stared at her in disbelief. So you fabricated a pregnancy? Why? Her voice cracked. Charlotte looked at Maya like she was staring at someone unworthy. Because she's not good enough for him. Maya gasped. Marcus looked furious. David rubbed his forehead, embarrassed. Peter whispered, horrified. Mom, what have you done? Charlotte pointed at Maya, voice shaking with rage and entitlement. She comes from nothing. No money. No pedigree. No status. And you. She jabbed a finger at me. Are not exactly someone I wanted my grandchildren inheriting traits from. My breath left my body. She said the quiet part loud. The racist part. The cruel part. The part she tried hiding under pearls and politeness. I stepped closer. Slow. Measured. Charlotte, say that again. She said nothing. But she didn't need to. Her eyes said it all. Maya collapsed into tears. Peter looked broken. Marcus pushed his chair back violently. I'm done with this. But I wasn't. Not yet. Charlotte, I said softly. Too softly. Dangerously soft. You have no idea who you are dealing with. Her lip curled. You're nothing. I smiled. A slow, knowing, eerie smile. You might want to rethink that. Charlotte's words hung in the air like poison. You're nothing. That sentence was meant to break me. But instead? It woke up a part of me I had kept quiet for too long. I stepped closer to her. Slow. Calm. Dangerous. The others backed up without even realizing it. I could feel Maya's shaky breath behind me. Peter's guilt. Marcus's anger. David's shame. But Charlotte. She looked at me with that same arrogant smirk she'd had since the day she opened her mansion door. She had no idea her world was about to collapse around her. The mother unmasked. I clasped my hands in front of me. Charlotte, I said in a quiet voice. Do you know anything at all, about my life before I started pretending to be poor and naive? She rolled her eyes. Your kind always plays the victim. My kind. There it was. Peter flinched. Maya began crying quietly. Marcus shook his head in disbelief. But I kept my voice steady. Let me tell you something you should have learned a long time ago. I took one step closer. She stepped back, just slightly. But I saw it. Fear. Real fear. I didn't grow up poor, Charlotte. I wasn't raised in some forgotten corner of the world. I let the words hang. Her eyes narrowed. Then why pretend? I smiled. To see how people treat someone they think they can disrespect. Her jaw tightened. I continued. I'm an investor, Charlotte. A silent investor. Not loud. Not flashy. I put money into companies and watch them grow. Marcus blinked fast. David's eyes widened. I turned toward them. Including your company. The color drained from their faces. Charlotte blinked rapidly. What? I nodded. Your family business, Fairhill Innovations, was struggling 7 years ago. You needed capital. David whispered, shaking. Wait, the anonymous equity partner, the one who saved us from bankruptcy. I raised my eyebrows. Hi. Charlotte staggered. Literally staggered. You're lying. I pulled a small, worn leather folder from my bag. I hadn't needed it all these years. But something told me to bring it on this trip. I flipped it open and showed the original investment contract. Her signature. David's signature. Marcus's signature. And one more. Investor, L. Harris. Charlotte gasped. Peter stared at the document like it was a bomb. Mom, why didn't you ever tell me this? I smiled at him softly. Because I didn't want you to be protected by money. I wanted you to grow into a man with character. He swallowed. Hard. Charlotte was trembling. You tricked us. I stepped closer. No, Charlotte. I saved you. And you treated me like trash. Her eyes filled with panic. Real panic. And suddenly, this woman, this queen of arrogance, looked like her entire world was falling apart. Because it was. Peter breaks. Peter suddenly slammed his hand on the table. Everyone jumped. I'm done. I'm done lying. I'm done pretending. I'm done letting you manipulate my life, Mom. Charlotte stared at him like she'd been slapped. Peter, darling. Stop calling me darling. His voice cracked. You lied to me about a pregnancy. You lied to me about Maya. You lied to me about getting a private investigator. You lied to me about everything. Charlotte's lips trembled. I only wanted to protect you. Peter pointed at Maya. Protect me? You almost ruined the only woman I've ever loved. Maya gasped softly. Peter wasn't done. He turned to his mother one last time. If you ever speak down to my fiancé or my family again, I swear. He choked. He couldn't even finish. Maya ran into his arms, sobbing. He held her like he was afraid she would disappear. And for the first time, Charlotte looked truly powerless. The shift. Marcus exhaled sharply and said. Well, that explains a lot. David sat down, rubbing his face. Charlotte, this is the mess you created. Charlotte looked at all of us like the world was tilting under her feet. I didn't know. I didn't. But I didn't let her finish. I walked up to her gently. Reached out. And placed my hand on hers. She looked confused, almost hopeful. But my voice was firm. Unshakable. Charlotte, you don't have to like me. But you will respect me. And you will treat Maya like a human being. Not like something beneath you. Her lips parted. She didn't argue. She couldn't. For the first time since I met her. She stayed silent. A storm had passed, a bigger one was coming.